Good morning. It is day number 23 and counting down to the big event, the streaming live 36-hour event to benefit Chemo Buddies for Life. We are healing through connections within a buddies network. And yes, I actually have a friend, a co-host, and a buddy with me. He is one of our volunteers, and we are going to talk about something very special today. I want to say, yes, okay, the legal name may be there. However, we call him fondly Skip. I want to say hello and good morning to Skip Thomas. How are you doing today?
Hey Tamara, I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, that was I'm a junior, so that's my official name, but everybody knows me by Skip. So
Yep,
good
and
to be
that's
with you.
well, thank you. Yes, that's how I have known you. In fact, it was like, oh, really? I have a stepbrother that they did the same thing. He was a third. And so it was like another, and it has kind of the same thing even in my family because your family was involved in the Navy, right?
That's right. Yeah, we were living in San Diego there, and had a babysitter when I was little, and they would give me little sailor hats, um, and I'd wear I love the little sailor hats, and they rolled up and all, and so the babysitter started calling me Little Skipper, and then when we moved back to, and then it shortened to Skip, and then when we moved back to Arkansas, my grandmother was like Granny out of the Beverly Hillbillies. I mean, even more so. And so
Was there a rocking chair up on top of the car anywhere?
no, but she had a double barrel little Derringer in her purse, and she was something else. And but she yes, but we my middle name is Jerry Lynn Thomas Jr.
Okay.
And so when I came back to Arkansas and growing up, my grandmother would call me Jerry Lynn, Jerry Lynn. I was like, oh no, that can't be my name.
That's not working.
So I said, how about let's go to that one syllable, Skip. And so it stuck.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And before we go into this, I want to say good morning to some of our friends that are stopping by. I love this. It's like a party every day. Good morning, Jeremiah Knight. I believe in your dreams. And we have one of the ladies from our organization. Can we shout out enough to this woman? She is who keeps us going these days. Erin, good morning. And thank you for everything that you have done. In fact, you have actually been a very big part of the show today. We'll be sharing about that. And, Jeremiah, you are just incredible. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us at Chemo Buddies for Life. He is actually one of the individuals that has put it out there that for his birthday, we were one of his causes that he asked for people to support. Now, we went into your story of your name, and stories matter. We were talking about that last night. In fact, that's why I asked you to be a part of today's morning show, because let's talk about your background and why it is that we are here talking about stories. Skip, brag about yourself a bit. And if you don't, I will.
Well, I've been in film and television for over 3 decades now, I guess longer than that, and based out of Arkansas. But we had a large company, and I did a lot of documentary films and a lot of commercials, a lot of corporate stuff throughout all over the country and really around the world, and won a lot of awards. I've got an Emmy and all kind of blah blah blah. But about whatever. But what really was important was the things that touched people's lives and made a difference. I worked with tons of politicians. I mean, I worked personally with Bill Clinton for many years. I worked personally doing his campaigns, messaging, writing. We produced a lot for Mike Huckabee. I did his when he was lieutenant governor. So, but I had a company, and then in about 2003 or four, I decided, I've been working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I thought I need to move. I need to do something different. This is not, because I was successful by earthly means, but I thought I need to do more to make a difference in this and that. So I moved to Sedona, Arizona, and nobody knew me. And there were no production companies, no ad agencies, no big corporate headquarters. So there was no way to create what I've been doing. If I greeted people at Walmart, I'd be good at it and I'd have fun and that'd be just fine. And so out there, I worked a lot with indigenous and so forth, and different healing groups. It was very popular for that, and shamanic. And then I got involved with some groups that did recovery centers and rehab centers as far as opiate crisis and alcoholism. And I was creating a lot of messaging, but also I was learning from my own personal growth, probably more than anything. And in about 2010, 2010, I found out that I was having some, I thought was a kidney stone. And the doctor said, yeah, that's exactly what you've got. And it sounds like those are classic symptoms. And so he said, if it keeps doing it and you don't pass it, we'll take a picture of it. And so it persisted. And so I went in and they took a picture of it. And it was about an apricot size malignant tumor that was in my bladder. And I've done hundreds of commercials and worked with kids with cancer and so forth. That's always happened to somebody else, not me.
Right.
And so I was 1,250 miles away from any closest relative. And I thought, okay, what do I do? And I wasn't even going to tell my family. I thought, there's nothing they can do other than worry. And my kids and so forth. And so I went and I thought, I need to know what my outcome is going to be. Thank God the people at the sanctuary there at Sedona that were a big part of my where I was working, the clients, they really became my buddy system, because other than that, I didn't have one. And the medical system doesn't say, hey, here, you need some support. You need to talk to other people. I said, what about things I could do to improve my life with nutrition? They had no answers. They said, we're going to operate on you and you're going to need chemo or type of therapy afterwards. And I thought, and what are my odds? And I didn't like that. And I thought, no, that's not going to, I'm not accepting that. And I'm not doing chemo. I'm doing something else. And I did. And I'm great. And so as I'm a survivor, or as somebody I think in your group called it, a cancer conqueror. I like that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but during the process, I did talk to my family and told them and so forth. But through the years, I ended up coming back to Arkansas and wanting to work in the okay, I've got a reason to be here, obviously. And what does that look like? And it was making a difference. If God's given me certain tools and skills and experiences, what can I use them for to make a difference in people's lives? So I created my own nonprofit called Amplifying Truth. And that's how we met, actually, with kind of an association with all that. And was just enamored by your mission and how much it meant to me that you were doing that with your own story, and then how important that was for people in my shoes back where, when I had no one to turn to. And so that's kind of what brought me to the present. There. What else you want to add?
I love it. And in fact, guys, we are coming up on our 2-year friend anniversary on Giving Tuesday, because the way it all worked is that through this organization where we met, they were having a live live event, and you were brought on, and then I was brought on with my original buddy. And then afterwards we started talking. We were kind of talking during the chat area, but then it was immediately thereafter. And then from there, we've been buddies ever since. And so I love that. Again, a story, because stories matter. People connect with people, because like and I'm notorious for this, because we come to whatever it is in life that we're dealing with from our past. My past, I was a headhunter, a recruiter. So what do I think in? I think in terms of resumes. And so I key into people's, what did they do? And in fact, people say, you shouldn't ask that question. I'm like, all right, well, then I shouldn't, it's like, okay, it's in my DNA. I'm a second generation headhunter. How do you get rid of that? And so, but that's where I get stories, though, because I key into why is it, the story, the why behind the why. Why did someone choose to go in to the film industry? Why did someone choose to go documentaries rather than, telling a story on the big screen and through, a novel kind of thing, or an action pack? It's like there's stories behind the stories. And that's what we're here to talk about today, because when we have different organizations, or different teams is what we're calling them, and anybody that knows me knows that is how I work. I am very, very team oriented. I believe no one should do anything alone. It's not just that you shouldn't do cancer alone. You just don't do anything alone, because it's so much more fun when you have others around. That energy, that fun, that laughter, and and did you know, and it makes every day a better day. And so the why behind the why. And when we were last night, when we were on having our production meeting, we were talking about the event that we're putting on, the 36-hour. We expanded it from 24 hours. We are owning this, guys. Giving Tuesday, mark our words. Giving Tuesday, we are going to own here, and we're putting that the line in the sand, the stake in the dirt, whatever you want to say, and we thought, okay, how do we do this cool? And you came up with an idea. Well, actually, we all kind of, and it was really interesting to watch. I loved, because the light bulbs were going on with everybody. You could see, Christopher all of a sudden, and then, and Misty was getting into it, and everybody was getting into kind of like, how is this going to look? And then by the time we were through the ideas out there, it was like we were all on somewhat of the same page. And then I asked you to come on, and so that we could then put this message out there and talk about how stories matter. So why don't you tell everybody what it is that we are thinking and we are doing, not thinking, we are doers at this group.
Yep, what we're doing. Well, and thank you. And yeah, you've got a great team, and this is really a movement, and it's going to take a life. It's already taken a life of its own, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. And so we've heard your story, we've heard other people's story. You just heard a little bit of my story, and there are two things. One thing is, as quickly as possible. I'm going to put it like this: the goal would be really to help kickstart this Giving Tuesday, with as many stories that we can get from people. And these are like little short commercials that come from people. We heard somebody earlier that text a message said, believe in the dreams. Mm-hmm. Why? And the key is, how can we put together a montage and show how many people can quickly come together and say, I'm a part of this. I believe this is why. And so here's the idea is, everybody's got an iPhone or a computer, and to do a 30-second commercial. Mm-hmm. Again, it's a selfie. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be scripted out, blah, 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 because what we want is that you believe this, that you really feel this. And so do a little 30-second, and it could be 45 seconds or whatever. People tend to go on and on and on. We don't want it too wordy, but if you can do it, goal is 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be exactly, but keep it, trying to keep it so we don't get 10-minute videos. But what we want to do is get as many of these as possible, as quickly as possible, and be able to cut together a montage to show that there's so many people, one, who have experienced this and have their own personal story, be it themselves or a family, or they believe in this because they know and they want to help do that. And so quickly put together just an iPhone, do your testimonial, and we've got an email to send that to. Now, what's in that? So it's 30 seconds, and you said why, and that's exactly what I was going to say. There are 3 whys, okay? One, why do we need something like this? Why? I mean, there's the Coleman Foundation. There's all these different things. Why is this a good idea? Why is this needed? from your point of view. And secondly, why are you involved in this? Why do you care about this? Why does this matter to you personally? And then third, why should other people, and what can they do about it? So it's why, and and again, just quickly kind of get your thoughts together. Don't write something down and read it. Record it and send it to the web address you see, or your email address right there on the screen. Your story at cb4l.org. And please do that. And what we'd like to do is take 10 seconds of this, 5 seconds of that, 20 seconds of that, whatever it is, and put a montage together that illustrate that we actually do have a movement and we're answering the need for something very important.
Yes, thank you. And didn't you say that if they have 2 or 3 pictures too, to maybe include those, because you might be able to go back and forth from the film. This man is incredible, the stuff that he puts together. And I've seen him put it together. Like, didn't you just film me doing that? And now it's up there. And wow, you are incredible.
Well, thank you. You're incredible and happy to be a part of this. But that's exact. So part one is record yourself, blah, blah, blah. It's about yourself. It's about your family, your father, your mother, your friends, whoever. You're a buddy maybe, or you just know of people, because everybody's been touched by cancer. So do that. Then the second thing is whatever that is, if you're talking about yourself or you're talking about your mate or your father, mother, get a picture, three pictures if you can, 2, 3, whatever, of what you're talking about. Yeah. And then we can edit that into the clips that we put together, and that'll make it very personalized and compelling.
I love it. I love it. So there you go, guys. Your story matters. Stories matter. In fact, one of my speaking coaches, he talks about how when you're up on stage, so many people go into the facts, so many people go into all of this, and then your audience is going to almost drone out. However, when you tell a story that is compelling, and when you tell a story that is going to, then people are going to be able to feel it in their soul, their hearts, their mind, and then it inspires them to actually do something. That is when you remember that speaker and you think, wow, yeah, I really feel this way. And that is what you can do with film. That is what this amazing man, and I'm going to bring it up here because he's with me right now, so I might as well, because he's already been highlighted on one of the shows. However, he spotlight Skip Thomas and saying, thank you for being one of our volunteers. Thank you for being one of my buddies. Thank you for agreeing to be on our board and over the digital asset piece of what we're doing with this movement, because in truth, it takes many people to change the world. Can it happen for one person? Yes, we are looking at that one person that needs us in the middle of the night, that's saying, I'm alone and afraid. I don't know that I can do this. Yes, you can. And we are showing that you can, because we have a lot of one persons, if you will, that are out here ready to make this go global, that we are going to actually have a community, a home for those people that have been affected by cancer. So I want to say thank you for being the volunteer that you are. Thank you for being the buddy that you are. And thank you for coming on live with me this morning from your beautiful cabin. I love it. And putting that call out there. So volunteers, ambassadors, buddies, and those that are watching this from the public, get involved with us and film. Today's Saturday, and it's not an accident. We're doing that Saturday morning. A lot of people have some time. It doesn't take much. 30 seconds, 45 maybe, 30 seconds, 2 or 3 pictures, email them off before you go and do whatever else you're going to do today. And so we can make a difference for those out there in the world. Thank you, Skip.
Yeah, thank you. And remember, why Chemo Buddies? Why are you involved? And then why should others get involved?
I love it.
That's great. Thank you.
So,
and
3 whys.
3 whys.
3 whys. Okay, not the 3 white guys. Wise guys.
3 wise guys.
There's always a way to remember something, guys. Yeah, I have some fun. All right, see you guys later. See you later today. Oh, at 2 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Eastern time, we have, this is a double header today. We have Jason Cisneros coming on live on Service Heroes to talk about being our coach and leading this amazing organization and helping us. He's pretty incredible, that Bald Avenger guy, huh? All right, everyone, go out there and make it a good day, but remember to film your video. Bye.